So yes, this has brought us to basically the end of PyCon Australia 2013. I'd like to begin by acknowledging our sponsors. It goes without saying that this conference would not be possible if it were not for organisations who care deeply about the existence and continued growth of the Python community in Australia. Our sponsors allow us to keep the cost of tickets for students and enthusiasts attainable, and they allow us to run activities and services that we could not have otherwise afforded. I'd like to thank our platinum sponsors. A large part of this conference is down to Google Australia. As well as being one of our sponsors, they've contributed a huge amount to our financial aid scheme. They also ran the Pie Ladies breakfast this morning. We thank Google Australia for their founding and continued support of PyCon Australia. The Australian Computer Society's Tasmanian branch has been of incredible benefit to us for both years of our Hobart rotation. As well as being one of our keystone sponsors in 2012 and 2013, they've been a source of volunteers and advocacy in government and industry. The network effect of their contribution has made a profound impact on our budget, and we'd like to also thank them for this. Our gold sponsors, the Tasmanian Government Department of Economic Development and the Tasmanian ICT Industry Peak Body, have both joined us for the 2013 conference. We're immensely pleased with the contribution of government and industry to PyCon Australia this year. Their contribution to this conference recognises the impact that such a high quality technical conference brings to the Tasmanian economy. Finally, our conference sponsors, the Python Software Foundation, Anchor Systems, CSIRO, Heroku, Red Hat, BRE Commercial Mathematics, and GitHub. Our non-profit sponsors, the Typewriter Factory, Info Exchange Australia, and the New South Wales Rural Doctors Network. The Django Software Foundation, title sponsors of DjangoCon AU. Aptera, the title sponsors of the OpenStack MiniConf. Secret Lab, our Wi-Fi sponsors. New Relic, our video sponsors, Rackspace, who sponsored Code Wars, and Freelancer.com, who sponsored our coffee. Finally, our conference contributors, whose combined support helped us to extend this conference even further. Please thank all of them. As Tim mentioned, our parent organisation, Linux Australia, who have facilitated this conference since the beginning. They're the peak body for free and open source software in Australia. LA has an open membership structure, so if you see value in contributing to the Australian open source community, please strongly consider joining them. So, PyCon Australia is not the only worthy event running in the next few months. I'd like to raise your awareness of these. LCA 2014 is running in Perth at the start of January. The call for papers is still open. It closes on July the 20th. The name of the conference is also its URL. So if you wish to submit a proposal, linux.conf.au. The National Computer Science School is about to run their challenge for high school students. It's a 5-week program designed to increase the programming skill of high school students. There's a program for beginners, intermediate students, and advanced coders. And this year, it's open to high school students all over the world. So if you know of high school people who should be extended into coding Python, get them onto NCSS's challenge. I highly recommend it. Kiwi PyCon, its call for papers is closed, but registrations are now open. It's going to be in Auckland in September, first weekend of September. nz.pycon.org is where you can find out about that. So it's no secret that PyCon Australia runs on a 2-year rotation, and this, sadly, is the second of the 2 years that we're running in Hobart. So it gives me great pleasure to announce the handover of the conference to our next host city. It's going to be held in Brisbane, Queensland. Please welcome Russell Stewart from the Brisbane team, who will be sharing their plans for this conference.
Thank you. That enthusiasm bodes well. This is the mic is working, yeah. Yes, we are going to bring you PyCon 2014-15. It's from the same city that brought you LCA 2011 and got flooded out. So we can handle most things. I believe just down here, about there was where our professional delegates was held at the time. So we're battle hardened, and we're not afraid of controversy. It was a great relief and pleasure that I heard Mark speak last night. I thoroughly enjoyed a well presented plan. So we're going to spare no expense promoting overseas. It just so happens that the G20 is held a few months after. Apparently you can't read that, probably because it's in French, but we're a cosmopolitan city sort of in the centre of the world. Security for it will be no problem. That's what the Brisbane River looks like when it's not in flood. It's a nice colour, not brown. This is our planned venue. It's the Brisbane Conference and Exhibition Centre. It's a huge area, although this is a huge area too. It's situated on what's the cultural centre of Brisbane, our city's playground. It's across the river from the CBD. It's surrounded by restaurants and museums, and of course all the hotels in Brisbane. Won't have one venue, we'll have another venue. Just down the road is an extension to the State Library called The Edge. As you can see, it's got a pleasant view. Those windows run right along. So if you plan to stay for the sprints, we have a very nice place for you to sit down and enjoy the view and enjoy the city. There's a boardwalk running along there. I think you'll like it. Now these are the details. When? It's going to be in the first week of August, South Brisbane. The weather, well, it's winter, you see. So not only will it not be cold, the temperature will be about 10 degrees to 21. It won't be flooding. There will be no cyclones. There will be no bushfires. With luck, it will be run smoothly. We're planning to hold mini comps, tutorials, sprints, the usual whole war. I hope I see you all there. Thank you.
And I wish the Brisbane team the very best of luck in taking over this conference. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yes, thank you, although I must list your list of sponsors scared me of the amount of work that must go into this.
So on that note, I'm going to be taking care of sponsorship for the next conference. We would really appreciate it if you're an organisation who cares about the growth of the Python community in Australia and around the world, please contact me. We deeply appreciate your help. Attracting sponsors in the volumes that we do is one of the things that keeps this conference at the quality that it is maintaining. So, some special thanks. This year's conference would not be possible without the support of many people and organisations. I'd like to individually acknowledge them. Our venue this year, Rest Point, we've used Rest Point for both years of our rotation. As well as providing such an amazing setting for the conference right on the river, their staffing behind the scenes is the main reason why we organisers have looked so stressless over the weekend. Ritual Coffee Tasmania, in particular Stu Grant, who isn't here today, they've provided really high quality coffee to both years of the conference in Hobart. Stu also facilitated getting the freelancer decoration onto the cups, and he took a lot of work off me in terms of getting the cups decorated. So please thank Ritual Coffee for their presence here. And because Ritual Coffee like us so much, they're offering all PyCon delegates 20% off purchases of Norwegian Blue on their website. The promo code that you need to enter is beautiful plumage. So if you do find yourself pining for the fjords, then go on their site and buy some Norwegian Blue. I'd like to thank Next Day Video, in particular Ryan. They've worked incredibly long hours through each day of this conference, and their work in recording the proceedings of the 3 tracks at this conference means that the global Python community can reap the benefits of our work at this conference. The godfather of PyCon Australia, Tim Ansell, as well as facilitating the live streaming of this conference over the weekend, Tim's been a steady presence on the organisers' mailing list. He's offered welcome comment in the rare occasions that we've disputed on the mailing list, and his opinion is always appreciated. So thank you, Tim, wherever you've gone. Kate and Neil, who despite moving overseas this year, produced our t-shirt design. I'm pretty happy with how it's turned out over the past few years, so thanks to them as well. Every person in a red lanyard, our volunteers this weekend, our session chairs, our session runners, and everyone else who gave up time over their conference to help improve it. Your contribution has made this conference the success it has been, so thank you very much. To everyone who presented a talk or tutorial at the conference, the event would be absolutely nothing without you. In particular, thanks to everyone who travelled overseas to present their material in record numbers, and also to our keynote presenters, Alex Gaynor, Tennessee Leuenberg, and Mark Pesci. Mini-comps were a hugely welcome addition to PyCon Australia this year. Being able to facilitate a day of in-depth material for two great communities in the Python ecosystem was a massive highlight of the 2 years we spent running this event. So to Tristan Good from Aptera and Tom Fifield from the OpenStack Foundation, and to Russell Keith McGee from the Django Software Foundation, thank you all for your hard work in making these events possible. So, slight bit of housekeeping. 2013's event has not quite finished yet. We have the conference after party at Jack Greene from 6:30 p.m. onwards. It's a walk down Sandy Bay Road or about a 5-minute cab journey. There's craft beer and burgers to be had, so if you're sticking around for the sprints or your flight is late, feel free to join us there and help us celebrate the end of our rotation here in Hobart. The conference sprints, which Tim so well advertised, they're going to be in the Derwent rooms, back where the mini-comps were on Friday. Monday and Tuesday, doors open at 9 a.m. And every talk that you missed is still available to be seen. They'll be going up on our YouTube channel within the week and hopefully on pyvideo.org. And we thank, of course, New Relic for sponsoring that and Next Day Video for doing the recording. I've been told to mention the Lost and Found. Check out the Lost and Found if you can. So as the conference draws to a close, I'd like to share with you some thoughts on the time we've had spent organising the conference here in Hobart. Firstly, being able to grow this conference to the point where we could sustain a financial aid scheme to rival that of PyCon US has been a long-held goal of mine. The contributions of both Google and the Python Software Foundation in helping us achieve this goal cannot be understated. To those of you who've attended the conference because of this, I hope you've gained from the event, because we've gained from your presence here. Go forth and share the results of your attendance from this conference. As a result of working on the conference last year, I personally was nominated as a member of the Python Software Foundation. And thanks to their generosity, I attended PyCon US this year. I'm pretty certain that a large number of the international speakers who we've got here did so as a result of my shilling the conference at PyCon US this year. And that's helped us raise the profile of this conference and Python in Australia immensely. As many people have alluded to today, the Python Software Foundation has moved to a new open membership model this year. And I really strongly encourage you to join so that you can help us figure out how to help grow the Python community in Australia and around the world. So yes, please join. Speak to Alex or Kenneth, who'll tell you details about the membership structure, because I'm not quite familiar with it. Not quite open yet, but will be in the next few months? Great, okay, cool. So everything I've talked about today and yesterday morning has led to PyCon Australia being the biggest ever this year. We had more proposals for talks, more sponsors, a longer conference, and more attendees than ever before. That we've achieved such a level of growth this year, whilst in Hobart of all places, speaks volumes of the goodwill that we've built up in the community over the past year. An important truth, this conference, while something I personally care very deeply about, is not just my own work. Without a strong, driven team, this event would not have been possible, let alone to the standard at which we produced it. And I'd like to thank each member of our team individually. Firstly, our program committee chair. Where are you, Richard? Hello. He's facilitated the CFP and talk selection for the past 2 years, and his stewardship of this process has resulted in a consistently high standard of program, and this year we feel that it rivals the best regional PyCons throughout the world. I'd like you to come and get your staff jumper, Richard. Thanks. You're welcome. To our outer core team, Josh Dupre, who's run Code Wars for the past 2 years, and to Casey Farrell for being our mini-conf runner this year. Their contribution has made sure that we could grow the conference and the events in this conference without causing an extra impost upon the core team. Our treasurer, for making sure that the entire event ran to budget, that our sponsors have paid up, and that our suppliers were paid. Matthew's diligence, attention to detail, and sheer pedantry has helped us to be confident that this event has been a financial success. And finally, my co-lead organiser. Joshua's vast knowledge of event planning, contacts within the industry here, and amazing attention to detail has made the logistics of this event impeccable. That every event was properly staffed, that every delegate present was catered for correctly shows the fruits of his work. Please thank Joshua.
And just 2 little pieces of housekeeping. There are a few leftover t-shirts, so if you never got any, you're welcome to come pick one up, even if you didn't order one. And if the volunteers would like to meet me in the organisers' room after this, would love to thank you. We've got a little present for all of you.
He never stops being the organiser of this. So, I can truly say that this conference would not have become the success that it has been over the last 2 years without the help of everyone on the core team, so thank you so much. I feel as though through this rotation here in Hobart, PyCon Australia has become one of the truly great Python conferences throughout the world, which embodies the spirit of knowledge, respect, tenacity, and encouragement that the Python community prides itself upon. The motto for the big PyCon this year was to change the future. This is a message that we should not let go to waste. Once you leave this building, share the enthusiasm that you've experienced and build a community that embodies the values that you saw here, wherever it is that you go to within the next few days. In closing, it's been a huge honour to help to build and to hold stewardship over this conference over the last 2 years. And likewise, it's been a privilege to share the place that I call home with this amazing community. Thank you and good evening.